It's 6:05. We'll call to order or open the meeting, Board of Water Commissioners for 1 Central Street for December 13th. And we'll get rolling here. And, all right, before I get to citizens' query, just an update on the drought conditions. We are still in a drought. Drought conditions remain unchanged throughout the Commonwealth pursuant to this Mass Water Resources Authorities. And it's saying in there that the Drought Management Task Force, which comprises all the government agencies, I'll put it that way, they're urging everyone to reduce indoor water usage, fix leaks, etc., things we always talk about. And the public is urged to continue conserving water in order to reduce the overall demand on the water sources. Even though it's been rainy and wet and things are improving, they have not removed those restrictions. But I don't think this is the time of year you want to be out there watering a garden that's not growing or washing a car in cold weather. But notwithstanding, so people have done a great job. Last meeting we looked at the usage, which is down significantly from this time last year, a lot. But we've also fixed a lot of leaks. So water that we produced and lost, and water that we've saved, so we've managed to stay, I guess, even or almost neutral, which is a good thing. But going forward, we'll still need to watch that. All right, citizens' query. A lot of folks here tonight. Anybody for citizens' query? Going. Okay. First appointment is Kittery Ave, 6:15. So we're ahead of schedule. And Mary Beth, I think last time we were talking about. We had talked
doing
about
the cut and cap at 89 Kittery Ave, and they had the problem, and they actually had to go back and repair the water main. And this resident experienced clogging of their service line, their aerators, and had to replace numerous internal plumbing fixtures. What they're asking for is for the board to reimburse them $133.58 for the purchase of a fixture.
Yeah, and it looks like they got whacked pretty good with the, I don't want to say backflow is not the right word, with the sand and gravel, Mary Beth, is that the?
Yeah, just the normal debris that gets dislodged from the water, around the break, the hole in the pipe.
Yeah. And it looks like the flushing didn't take care of it. I don't know. Gentlemen, have any input?
In their email, they're asking for a reimbursement of $129 for the cheap faucet, but they've attached a receipt from Lowe's for $133.58.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the other stuff, it's other stuff, so.
Yeah.
I think it's not unreasonable, so I think we should.
Well, they seem to have done the homework, put the case together, provided the evidence, whatnot. Mark?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to reimburse the Saunders for $129 to cover the cost of the water faucet.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Passes.
Thank you.
Is anybody here from there? Okay. And Mary Beth, this is where
You wanna jump to
you asked me
209?
to jump up new business number 4 up to now,
Yes, please.
which is, let me get my paperwork, folks. Which is discuss the relocation of a water service at 209 Weathersfield. So I'm gonna go through the package first, and I wanna just relax for a minute, okay? Yeah, this is pretty relaxed, not, this is not a.
Not very formal.
Okay.
No, no, I hate that. That's good. What are you going for? Is that part of this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do we all have that? All right.
Yeah, it's actually, what's up there, as you can see.
Okay. All right, so before we get into it, what's going on? I guess is the best question.
Sure.
Before you get into the, like,
Yeah.
all of this, just what's happening?
For the record, my name's Bob Grasso from Engineering Land Services.
Okay.
We conducted a soil test. There was a Title V failure for 209 Weathersfield.
Okay.
We were out there with the Board of Health. We conducted soil tests right in this area and to replace the existing failed leach system.
Okay.
And in the septic tank. The septic tank right now was located right here. We had proposed to put it here. But the contractor who was installing the system, the approved system by the Board of Health, encountered ledge through this area, so he moved the tank to the right, facing this way, to get away from that ledge, which is being serviced by there's a curb cut, water shut off right here on Weathersfield Street right here. And I went inside the basement. We had dig safe prior to the Board of Health with the trench permit and the dig safe number. And we had that painted up by the water department.
That green box there, the
Right
big one?
here?
Yeah. Is that the old leach field that failed?
That's the replacement right now.
That's the replacement?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So I went in the basement, we measured from the corner of the wall where it entered the house. So nothing was marked here, so I presumed that we went from the water shut off straight to this point right here. So that's the location. It wasn't verified by the water department or by us. We just assumed that it went from one point to the straight point. During the approval, we had to come up with the leach area to replace, the old system. We used the Presby system, which is you save about 40% size of a conventional pipe and stone. There's less impact on the lot. But unfortunately, it's a steep slope going up to the house. So we proposed a rerouting of the water service about 40 feet into the private property located right here in the magenta, right here on the plan that you have. But by moving that tank, this is an ongoing as-built right now. So that we proposed it right here matching into the old line. Because he moved the tank to the right more, we have to keep 10-foot separation, which is required by Title V. So we moved it 12 feet instead of going right into the corner. We had it going, we're gonna have to pour on the side of the house a new hole for the system, for the water service to enter.
Okay. Just if I could just impose on you to come up here on this
Sure.
one. So to make sure I'm reading what you're doing, so you're talking about coming in here,
Yeah.
coming around there, and then having this line come
Go
in here?
here and then into there.
Okay, because you gotta be 10 feet away
Because
from the tank.
10 feet from the tank.
And that was like the first solution, so now you actually have to do this, because you gotta be
Yes.
away from the tank.
Yes.
Okay,
So
so
this
that is gonna
This is
be,
a progress print right now of the as-built. That's the
Mm-hmm.
as-built as it sits right now.
okay. And so, where's the property line, right here?
Right here.
Okay.
And we also were granted by a variance by the Board of Health. The soil absorption system has to be 30 feet from any lot line, and we got a variance down to 21 feet, actually 19 feet, but we moved it over 21 feet.
Okay.
And that's a local regulation.
Yeah.
Title 5 is 10 feet.
Yeah, I was on the Board of Health at one
Yeah.
point too, so. Nothing but regulations. All good, so, but there's a lot. Okay, and so,
So in an ideal world, you'd want to do, a straight line, but being a repair, it's not new construction, we don't have control over, where we could get the soils, and we're working with the steep slope. We actually put a poly liner in there for grading. There's a low spot right in here. We didn't want to fill this in to affect the abutting property, so we kind of limit the amount of grading here. So we wanted to work with the slope coming down the hill instead of going out like this, which would be in the low area right here and would actually affect the abutting property for drainage purposes.
yeah, you'd have to, what's a poly liner?
It's a 40 mil poly liner. It's 5 feet in depth. It actually, on Title 5, they require for a breakout for the fluid. The top of the pipe is considered the breakout elevation, and you're supposed to go 15 feet out with grade and then 3-to-1 slope. But if you use a poly liner, you can cut 10 feet of fill, which saves the owner for a cost because it's a replacement.
And the,
10 feet of fill.
the water feed line is sitting in the poly liner? Is that what you're saying?
No, actually, it's a raise. It's raised up, so
It's a raised septic?
yeah, yes.
Oh, okay.
It's actually, we're into the hill like this, and we're coming out, and the bottom would be the higher end, so.
Okay.
The line will be on the bottom, the highest end of the grade.
Okay. Okay, just sit down for a second. I'm gonna have Mary Beth, what her input is here.
So, we just found out about this project, and so nobody had approached the water department with any discussions other than a few weeks ago when I believe the gentleman who was installed the septic system came in and said, I need to relocate a water service in 2 days. And so I hadn't seen this plan. No application was made for, our process for applying for the relocation. And the septic system was in. And so Mr. Grasso came in, it's Grasso, I'm sorry, right, Mr. Grasso?
Correct.
Came in, and just quickly, I scanned at the plan, but I would not approve the installation based upon the configuration of the water service. And so that's why this group is before the board tonight, to override my decision of not to approve this, as it was presented to me on the plan that you have in front of you.
And the reason you're saying it shouldn't be approved is because the runs are not straight per our policies?
Right, and matter of fact, it is pretty much a standard in the industry anywhere that all appurtenances are perpendicular to the water main. If this group had come to me prior to this, we could have worked it out. A water line can be within 10 feet of a septic as long as it's sleeved. It is correct that it is preferred that it be 10 feet away from the leaching field. However, it can be within 10 feet as long as the entire water line is sleeved.
Is this water line in yet? Could it?
Oh, no.
Could it be sleeved?
So that's running if you look at the plan,
Yeah, okay.
the existing water line that they've shown on the plan is running smack dab right now through their system. So that, I can tell you, cannot happen, so it can't run
It
smack.
has to move.
It has to
Right,
move.
Yes.
that's,
There's no
Right.
doubt about it.
That's
It has to
what-
move.
but my question is, the, I guess the cutout, the jug out there, if, would it, and that's what you're proposing putting in?
Yes.
And could that be sleeved? I don't know about the angles and the engineering.
If it's 12 feet or
It doesn't have
or
to
10 feet or more, it
You don't
doesn't have
really
to be
run on
sleeved.
angles. It's a, when you get the pipe, it's in a coil.
Mhm.
So in other words, when I show these angles like that, you're not actually taking sharp angles like that. You're gonna actually curve it.
Okay.
So there's not really like any friction loss for
Mhm.
pressure or anything. And I just wanna go back to her statement where she stated water main.
Mhm.
In your regulations 2.33, it says all services shall be installed perpendicular to the water main from the curb box.
Mhm.
Now that's from the curb box to the water main, which is up here, and that's perpendicular. That's your only regulations about
Is there a meter pit on this one, or is it meter in the house?
We don't know. The
Do you know where
the
about?
company that you have,
I'm sorry.
Is there a meter pit there, or is it?
There isn't, but section 7, service lines and curb stops, B, the service line from the curb stop to the meter pit or to the house shall be designed to run perpendicular to the water main. You have that in your packet. There are 2 sections. One talks about the water main to the curb stop, and then the curb stop, whether it goes into the curb, the meter box or the meter pit or to the house. So both are covered as far as being perpendicular.
Okay. Here, let me share this, it'll save you some time. Mr. Grasso, just click my name, doctor. That's what Mary Beth's referring to.
to the meter pit or the house. For new and relocation service. I guess we're gonna, section C, unless otherwise approved by the water department.
Mary Beth has something.
So a lot of times what happens is you do have what I call these postage stamp properties that have septic and have either a private well or have town water for their supply. And so working these things out while it's on paper, it's very beneficial to everyone involved. Than trying to figure out a way to make this work so that down the road, the potential new homeowner doesn't have any issues. How long is the, I have a question, how long is the service from the curb stop to the house? What is the potential run?
Roughly 150, 160 feet.
Okay, so anything over 100 feet requires a meter pit. So if there isn't currently a meter pit, this property needs to have a meter pit. And the reason for that, 150 feet is a long run. If they ever have a service leak, you'll never know about it until they have a problem with their septic system.
And will the meter pit be up towards the dwelling or down towards the
Meter
street?
pit will go right here. Right
Up
here.
on the street?
Yep.
Okay.
So that,
Between the curb line.
so if for some reason they got a leak, it'd be metered. If it was metered where it is now, if they don't have a meter, but that's why I was asking. They could have a leak out here for years and you wouldn't know it. Although it's pretty clay, gravelly stuff, if I remember right. I was up there not too long ago.
Is the water service going to be, as it is right now, were you going to replace the entire water service from the curb stop to the house with one continuous pipe?
No, we're actually gonna, see about 40 feet in, we break the line and, put a new water service right here, up to the house right here.
So a loop around and a new entry into the house?
And we would show that while he had that uncovered, we would go out there with a field instrument survey and locate that and show ties to any bangs or the exact location.
Do you know
of
if
what
the current line is? Is it plastic? Is it copper?
That's.
Is it plastic? Okay.
So there'll be some fittings in that 150 service line that have a potential for leaking down the line without a meter pit. That's why I was asking if it was gonna be one continuous water.
You're on the same page as
Right.
where I was going with that.
Mhm. It
I would have a tendency to approve it only if there was gonna be a meter pit put in.
And a one continuous service line.
What does that-
Either or.
What do you mean a continuous service line? You're gonna come
Meaning
in,
that right now, if you
have
look
them
at that
dig up that
plan,
40 feet?
where the straight line comes in the perpendicular from the curb stop in, and then you have a bend.
Yeah.
At that's where I assume that you're gonna cut right there to reconnect, to redirect the pipe around the septic system, there'll be a fitting there. That's a potential for a leak. And then likewise, when they come back around, if that's a true angle, there'll be another fitting in the line.
You're not
as well.
hooking back into the old line into the house though, right? You're going into the side?
We're gonna.
So it's gonna be new from there, so you're talking- Yep.
This
Yeah.
is just
Yeah, I
an
know.
AutoCAD. We'd actually sweep the line and, sweep it.
But whereas it's 150 feet, I would say that
Yeah, we're at a straight line from the curb box to the house, roughly 135 feet.
yeah, it should have had a meter pit anyways.
Well, this
So-
is an existing dwelling.
Exactly, but you're changing the water line. So what's your proposal, Mary Beth? I just want to hear what you propose.
I am in agreement with you about putting in the meter pit, and I would like to see the entire service replaced from the meter pit, one continuous pipe into the house with no fittings.
Is that,
They're gonna have to dig up and excavate for the meter pit and excavate 90% of that. It's just another additional to get that one run of continuous pipe.
is that 40 feet, is that ledge, is that dirt, I know you said. it's-
That's the low spot right there,
Mhm.
that's the low spot.
Alright.
And we did encounter ledge through here.
Yeah.
The house is up here on a high spot, so we might even encounter ledge through here. I'm not-
You can kind of ledge anywhere through there in that area.
No,
so-
we actually just did testing down here,
Yeah.
but when the contractor went to go put
Mhm.
the new tank in, he encountered ledge, and that's when he was forced to,
Right.
maximum feasible compliance.
Mhm.
I mean, you're trying to save the homeowners some money,
Hmm.
and he didn't want to, blast, chip, and all that, so he just actually rotated the tank. I mean, which, it's a repair,
Mhm.
he's trying to do the best he can, he had a failed system, he's trying to,
Yeah, and as a homeowner in Raleigh, I don't want to add to someone's burden of trying to
Exactly,
fix a
right. I mean,
Title
this is a big
V.
burden, I mean,
Um,
the average cost of the system is roughly $35,000.
I will say I'm a little concerned that, and this goes back to my Board of Health days too, we had a recidivism rate with people doing the work, that once they could get an exception made, they would just try and slam them in. And I can assure you, Steve White was on the board at the time, as well as, I can't remember the other gentleman's name. It happened once, we made an exception the next time, no, that there were septic systems pulled and removed, and it was ugly. But, again, just a miss or an error, or, in something in good faith, but people do make mistakes, but if I see it twice,
No, we actually staked the
Yeah.
system out, and, which is required by
I'm
that
not
health
talking about
code.
you, I'm talking about down the road.
Yeah,
If
that's
someone's in here
previous
another month, it's not gonna work well. But before we keep going, I just want to get Bernie's opinion.
No, I think that this kind of workaround makes sense to me. When I looked at the document, the actual regulations, there's some wiggle room in them,
Well,
but
that's a perfect world.
right, so,
The world's not perfect.
but my point is that on the application, Mary Beth, that the shorter form, the kind of two-page document that people fill out, that should have some more explicit reference back to the regulations. Because at the moment, it doesn't. It looks, if you just read it, it looks like there's no mention of perpendicular, there's no, and obviously there's the regulations are fairly detailed.
Perpendicular, you're looking at where the road is and where the lot lines is.
Well,
It's not gonna
I'm just
happen
saying
anyways.
that whoever's applying for a change in service needs to have a heads up that there's a lot of detail. Now, Mr. Grasso, he's an experienced engineer, but
I
other
didn't fill
people,
out the application.
sorry.
So all of that happens when somebody comes to the water department and gets to speak with me before, when they're at the design phase. I go over these things, I
Okay.
review the plans, we send a letter out to the contractor, developer, on what the criteria is. We direct them to the regulations, and so that, because if you look at our regulations, we would really have a lot of pages to attach to the application. So we go over all of that stuff, but like I said, nobody ever came. I got wind of this project because I got a dig safe that came through to go mark out.
Yeah. So I have another question, though. Looking at your document here, the existing septic leach areas to be abandoned and the new line is running through there. Will you be removing the old leach field, or are you just going to leave it in place? Like right here?
It's not running through it.
Oh, that's just leaving it.
Oh,
It's
okay,
pipe and
so that's
stone. It's
that's
just
over
pipe
here,
and stone.
that's not up there.
Yeah, it's pipe and stone. That's all. If you don't feed it, it will just die out, so.
Not
If
reading-
it was a leach pit, then you pump it and crush it, but if it's pipe and stone, you just leave it in
Yeah,
place.
and I'm not an expert at reading. schematics, I thought that was pointing up.
No, it's
Okay, so
well
that's good.
away.
So I guess one of the questions we come down to is do we require a single run or allow the cut into the line? And I guess I'd want to know how much, since you're gonna have to go in, we need to have a meter pit, that's one of the requirements we'll have. So there'll have to be a meter pit, so there'll have to be mitigation up at the top of your, right, yeah, there's gonna have to be mitigation there. And so if that's the case, I think it would be beneficial.
It's beneficial for the new homeowner to just
Yeah.
run it
To do one run.
all in, you won't have the connection, you won't have a chance of,
Well, we have the contractor right here,
Yeah.
Richard Noonan, who pulled the construction permit
Mhm.
for the replacement. Richie, on this reviewing.
I just should run the whole new line,
so you agree with us?
yeah.
Okay.
Meter pit, for the curb stop, meter pit,
Yeah.
then run new plastic all the way in.
Yeah.
For the extra 40 feet, you're not talking that much extra money.
Anyways, you're gonna change it, so you might as well put one
I mean,
line.
it's crazy to put a brass fitting in there and have to worry about it leaking. And the new homeowners, I'm sure, would be happy to have that way.
Mary Beth has a question, a comment.
So there's the question, is that who's going to pay for the meter pit? It's maybe $1,800 for the meter pit.
What's our standard with, what do we do with when we're putting in, someone's building a house? Do the homeowners pick it up, or do we
Yes, so
pay for it?
someone will have to come into the office with a check made out to Ty Sales. What we'd have to call for a quote, so we get the accurate price. And then we normally would contact the developer, whoever's gonna pay for the meter pit, to come in with a check. We turn the quote into an order on behalf of the customer.
Mhm.
The meter pit gets delivered here. When the meter pit is delivered, we contact whoever's gonna be installing it. The meter pit is here, they install it.
Do we have any issues with regards to the time of year and the weather, for you to be able to put in the meter pit and then get your water line run? Because I know Board of Health, you can't put leach fields in after, I think it's December 20th or 21st is I know, is that, do we have any kind of issues? Because I know the water line we can put in, but with the leach field and everything else, is there any kind of constraints here that you're dealing with?
Just the water source, that's,
Okay.
we're just waiting for the water pit, and that's
Okay.
it. This is in, the septic system is inactive. The leach area is already in.
Okay.
This is all inactive, the tank's not even full. No
Is
one's
this house
living
not
in the house.
occupied?
The owner's here, Mr. Riley.
Okay.
So-
Mary Beth, one more question, Mary Beth?
So, well, the meter pit isn't gonna be here like the next day. It
I
could
know
take a
that.
week or two before it comes in, because it's not something that is on a shelf. We have to order it, and, you know, they expedite the orders as soon as we call them, but it's not something we have control over.
Right, well, that's, I mean, that,
There's other
That's all you can
companies
do.
other than Thai Sales too. They could go to EJP. I would imagine they have them.
so, that's something that can be worked out after we decide
Yeah.
what's gonna do. So, my thoughts are, I think we should, make a requirement to put in a meter pit and do a continuous run to, I'll describe it as to loop around and then into the northeast corner as you delineated. So,
Is that okay?
That's-
I just need a motion to that effect.
I'll make that motion.
Right?
Seconded.
And before I call for the vote, any input from the homeowners, or?
Well, we appreciate your taking this into consideration, and it looks like we'll be able to move forward. But time really is of the essence, so I'm a little worried about this, you know, the ordering and expediting of this meter.
I think a couple of phone calls, should be able to find a meter pit.
I know Prescott does meter pits, and there's a
Yeah.
person Salisbury that does them too.
All right, so,
So,
I just wanted to be able to
Do you
mitigate
have
this
any
without.
special meter pit you use? Or-
That's,
What she referred to, Thai Sales, that's who we get them all from, we get a preferred vendor. I assume we
Fit our
probably get a better
meters.
price.
fits our meters.
mhm.
Well, she could call Ty there, whatever it is, and find out how long it would take.
Yeah,
If they
I
have
think
them
you
in
guys
stock, you can
can,
drive down in there and pick it up probably.
you guys are welcome to work
It's about an
that.
hour and a half
out.
ride.
We're, from the board, we're more than giving you this, the ability to make that solution.
Mhm.
And then we can't control the contractors that supply the equipment. Okay?
I know a lot of towns, they always keep 2 or 3 in stock.
We don't.
We
We used
don't
to.
stock, we
Yeah,
can't
it's,
afford to
uh,
stock
just-
2 or 3
It's called
meters.
just-in-time inventory, so anyways, the motion was made, Bernie seconded it, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you for your time.
Yep, nice presentation, well done.
Good job.
Controversial, a little bit, but my biggest
Mary
concern
Beth?
was
Mary Beth?
the failure to get the, and it's not new, but to get the permits done through the right process.
If I can just say a word on that, you know, we applied to the Board of Health and provisionally approved, and the work permit was issued for construction to proceed. It just seems that it might be a good idea to have the water department sign off on these things, because we had no idea that.
Actually, I was talking to Frank last week, and he said the same thing. So,
So that's,
I think that's gonna be in the works.
we'll address that. And Mary Beth?
We've already taken care of that, just like they email us when a new well, private well is being installed, to take the burden off of the Board of Health to determine whether the service line is correct or not. If the criteria meets for the septic system, which is the only thing the Board of Health has jurisdiction over, they'll be offering those provisional conditions based upon the water department. So every septic system that goes in, whether it's a new Title V or a replacement of an old failed system, we'll get an email, and then I will look at it, and if the water line is okay, we're just gonna communicate email, you're good to go, water line is not affected, rather than having them to pick and choose and guess. But I would like to know before everybody leaves, who will I be contacting tomorrow? Who will be the representative for this group as far as,
You've got my email here.
I do, but let me get it again so I have it right on my notes.
Is that what you want, and then I'll get it to
Sure,
everybody, or,
that's,
or, because you're
that'd be
not
helpful.
okay.
Glad we,
Can I just ask one question?
you just have to identify yourself.
I'm Sean, potential new owner of the home.
I'm the broker, I mean, the two buyers. It was supposed to close the 30th of November.
Oh, that's.
November?
I was just wondering, looking for a few details on the meter pad. Is this something that's like steel or?
What it is, it's a made out of plastic.
Plastic?
He's actually
What
put
it is,
them in.
is the pipe comes in the bottom, goes up, the meter's on the top, the pipe goes back down. It's,
Like a manhole type thing?
yeah, you'll see there'll be a little metal cover on the top, and the actual meter reader thing that we read up through radio will be on the top of it.
So it's
And
below grade type of?
yeah, it should be flush with grade when it's done.
Yeah.
And
they have
it's
something
an
sticking out.
airspace so it keeps everything from freezing. There's a lot of them in town. Any house that's over 100 feet off the road is required to have one.
Alright,
And it actually is better for you because you can find out if you have a leak.
right.
Better for you, better for us, because we can find out if there's any leaks or anything when it happens.
Yeah, so, and like I prefaced this, that I think there was some errors, however they were made, but I wanted to make sure we could work with you guys to come up with a reasonable solution. That protects the town, protects the homeowners. So,
Thank you for your time.
yeah, well done. That's
Yeah, no, I appreciate it.
good. Thank you.
Thank
So, anything else? Okay, well, welcome to Raleigh when you get
Yes,
there.
hopefully. It's a great street.
So, oh, Weathersfield? Yeah, no,
Nice location, too, a nice house.
Yeah, it
I was in it
is.
the other day.
group was for the meeting. Thanks, glad we can work it out. Mr. Riley, nice to see you.
No, you're welcome.
Do you know everybody? Do you guys both know him?
Well, Mr., he called me.
Oh, really? Okay.
That's what, so I told him to put together
I still feel like such an outsider.
I'm involved with every house that gets sold in town.
You can move up.
Yeah, I know. So, all right.
Sorry for both parties if we have to delay.
All right, so guys, and now we'll go back to, Mary Beth, you all ready? Okay. All right, now we're back to the agenda. Old business, water supply update, drawdowns and system delivery. How are we looking?
Good.
It's a little bit less today because there was a
I know,
lot more.
I need a haircut, but
Looking good, John. We have, if you want to, out in the superintendent's report on page 1, which is general business number 2, there is a description for the water supply update. I'm sorry, it's on page 2 of the superintendent's report. Just gives a little overview of the water supply. And well, I guess does your copy have of the superintendent's report, does it have, under water supply update, does it say drought?
no.
Hmm.
It says on August 18th, as of September 22nd, November 30th. And it says as of November 30th, all well levels have increased 2.5 to 3 feet compared to the beginning of September 2016, which is, it's good.
Oh, so there's another section, I don't know where this report came from, but this is the correct, if you look up on the screen, there's some information on the drought. So that should have been in there. Sorry, I don't know what happened with the report.
Yeah, it's not the same.
No, the one that's on the screen is the,
Yeah, the drought update's missing from this.
yes. The other thing too, which is it.
So this is actually a foot, we've gained a half of 6
Yes.
inches to a foot since the last time we looked at this information.
Yes,
Okay,
Mhm.
so it's moving in the right direction.
absolutely.
So for a drought update, I'm just going to read that into the record so people can hear it and whatnot. So the Mass Drought Task Force met yesterday, and while conditions have improved in some areas, they've worsened in others. Not enough improvement was seen to change the current declaration, so the recommendations made to the Secretary was to keep the declarations the same. I'll forward the final decision when I get it. I assume it's from you, since it's the Commissioner's report, the Superintendent's report. I did stress that the emphasis on outdoor water restrictions should be eliminated, given that we are beyond the growing season. I have heard from some
Mass Waterworks Association.
members that they are concerned the public will be desensitized come spring if the emphasis on the ban continues over the winter. I would agree. Someone suggested they should instead talk about the importance of conserving water, etc. I read it. The water supplies have done well with the conservation efforts through very low RCPGCDs throughout the Commonwealth.
This is from the email that I received, and I actually got it from the Mass DEP, the state of Massachusetts. It was, what was in there. I don't know why that's in there, but anyway, this is just an overview of the precipitation. So you can see as compared to 2015, 2016 with the rain and snow. And so 2015, you can see here in October, we had 7.26 inches of rain as compared to 5.2. So you can see that it's coming up. We've gotten 10 inches of rain as far as November.
Yeah, good. It shows no wells.
Mhm.
Excellent. Good.
So,
Okay, so, and then, I know people think we're beating a dead horse, but it's just a serious issue. I saw your note on there about wanting to have a meeting sometime in the 26th. Are you gonna get that when we get to your report?
you mean that was in that little
The
blurb?
listening thing?
I have to apologize. I don't know what happened with the report.
right.
I wanted to just cut and paste the beginning part.
I gotta
where-
say, some of it was word for word out of the Mass Waterworks stuff.
It was, because I thought it was it's explained it very
Yeah.
well, and I don't know what happened.
Did you get the one the next day
You sent me one.
the one the next day that had actually from the state, the declaration,
Yeah, yes,
saying it hadn't changed anywhere?
yes, and I actually put a copy of that in each of the commissioners' mailbox.
Yeah. You know that.
Yep.
This one.
Yeah, I have it right here. I'm just marking out that one. Do you have that?
Yeah,
It's in your mailbox.
Yeah, I know.
I just want to get that stuff, I just forwarded to her, just in case she didn't get it.
And then move on to old business number 2, update the video security system at 401 Central Street and the water treatment plant draft SOP. I've talked to Debbie Egan a little bit. And Mary Beth, I had asked her to tell you that too, about all of this, and there were some changes that Judy Pickett had recommended.
And I made them all.
Okay. Your question, review this.
On your copy, John, there should be a little sticky.
Yep.
So one of the recommendations Judy Pickett said is that the board needs to name a specific person for the designee to meet for access to the system. That's the only change that I did not make because I did not know who else you would like to have access to the servers.
My thoughts would be either, like Debbie Egan, the town personnel
I was thinking that.
manager. I mean, I'd like to say me, but from a security standpoint, what's on there, and if there was ever any kind of litigation, you know, the three of us shouldn't be sitting there going, yeah, great, that should be, you
I
know,
agree with
the
you.
appropriate official.
Okay.
Now, I don't know.
Personnel officer, so in case Seth has issues with personnel.
It's always got to do with personnel. If it was a theft, if there was a discrimination, if there was, oh my God, insert whatever problem. That's all right, we'll take a minute, a pause, take care of that. See who that is?
Yes, we'll take care of it. You don't have to worry about it, because I already have the work order. So it's already come through for the
So
turn.
cancel, so.
I'll cancel the phone.
Ought to be in the house.
Yes, so we won't shut you off.
People just in here.
I'll be right there walking you through the whole thing, okay? All right, thanks. Sorry.
No, it's,
Okay, so would the board mind voting so that I can,
I,
and then I can
well,
talk to Debbie Egan about this?
well, I don't, should we ask Debbie first before we vote? Put her name in there?
Well, all right, so
What did
this
they
is
say?
where we're at. I know this has been, I'm trying to comply with what the board's wishes. And we have a completion date for this. This is the SRF.
Yeah, it has to be done.
It has to be done, so we're kind of, a lot of things to move forward are hinging on this policy because I can't, I need to get the system, I need to get the system operating. And I can't do that because I need acknowledgement forms signed. I need to have the SOP in place because that's what the board wanted. The signs have gone up. I don't know if you've noticed them. They're everywhere, where the cameras are. And so, I need this policy and the acknowledgement form because I have, if I can't test the system or make sure that it's running and the cameras are positioned properly, and then the deadline comes, which is in a few weeks, and
So let's make the designee, the personnel officer of the town or the chairman of the Board of Water Commissioners to us. That way, if she doesn't, we can strike it, but we still have it in effect.
what I can do is that I'll reach out to Debbie tomorrow, because
Mm-hmm.
she's got a copy of this, and just let her know that recommendation from, one of the recommendations, and then, what are her thoughts on that, and explain to her what you just said about, personnel officer, that kind of thing. This policy is with Attorney Joe Fair.
So why would we vote on it before?
No, just this one thing, this was the only thing that was missing. So I made all of the recommendations of Judy Pickett in her memo, or the changes have been made, except for this one where she said we should pick a name. And she wanted it, in the memo, it said that we should name a designee, not just say or designee. That who is going to be the designee. So I could reach out to Debbie tomorrow, see what her thoughts are. If she's okay with this, then, if not, then I'll have to bring it back before the board again, to see what your thoughts are. Or you said you wanted to vote to have me the chairman for the water board?
Yep, the chairman, the sitting chairman of the water board, or the head of the personnel board, and then say, as of this date, that would be John Manning and Deborah Egan. Does that make sense? So you name the title and the person that's in that position today. It's just for clarification, and then moving forward, whatever date of the effect of the question, it'd be the two people populating that position.
Okay. So this is with Attorney Fair to make sure, because, we have members of the bargaining unit that are employees here, to make sure that there isn't anything that we need to add to this or take out of this for the SOP. And then also we have, each employee, including myself, will need to sign an acknowledgement form. And basically it just says, we're all aware that the cameras are up. We all know where the cameras are located. We are aware that we are being videotaped in those areas 24/7, whenever we're coming in and out of the building, if there's a camera there. And that we have received the SOP, and it's just an acknowledgement form that we know
What's the
about.
difference between the two?
One's revised.
Oh,
It's
so,
at the top.
because, I'm not an expert, you reach out to the web. I had found I had found an acknowledgement form from another town in Massachusetts, but, I don't know what the correct language is supposed to be, so there was a whole paragraph, if you see, that's missing, and the one that
Yes.
looks shorter. I just took it out because it actually talked about search policies, which we don't search lockers and vehicles and all that.
So which is the one that we want to, revised? Is
Revised.
that the one? Okay.
The revised.
Yeah, I have the revised.
So I took this out, John.
Yeah, good. I think we talked about that last time.
This paragraph I took out.
Yeah, understood.
So Attorney Fair has this for review to make sure.
Which? The,
Actually,
release
the
forms?
revised. Originally, they
revised
got
consent.
I sent over the original one, and then several questions came back from the town administrator about wanting copies of our search policies, and I'm like, well, we don't have a search policy. So I just took it out because it really does not really pertain to the video surveillance system really in general.
And again, the third paragraph down, the last sentence, I don't even know if it needs to say, I hereby give my consent. I think it should say, I hereby acknowledge that video surveillance is in use at any time throughout this property, or something like that. I don't think we need to have them give consent, just acknowledge that they understand that this camera's everywhere.
Well, at the top sentence, employees shall read and sign an acknowledgement that they have read the video surveillance procedure that includes notification and information about the installation and locations of the electronic surveillance system.
Oh.
Sorry.
No, took me a second, I realized I didn't check.
So, I mean, a lot of this could be like extra wording, so, we'll just wait to hear back from Attorney Fair to see. An acknowledgement form really doesn't have to be long and detailed and elaborate, it
Could be
just,
the first paragraph.
it could just be the first paragraph.
Yeah. it
Exactly.
should. So
Sometimes
we have
shorter is
to,
better.
yeah, so we have to wait for Fair to sign off on this?
Yes, so we're waiting to hear back from Attorney Fair.
Will we
or
need to
from-
vote on it once he?
No, I just wanted to give the board the update.
Okay.
I was hoping actually I was gonna have it ready to pull up to show you, the cameras, however, when I logged into the system, it said blocked, not available, and so I emailed Steve and he said the servers are off. So I couldn't, there must be, they're still working on doing this, so I couldn't show you the,
Okay, I'm very familiar with them, so.
So do we need to sign these?
no, this was just an update because, to
No,
give
no,
you.
do the water commissioners need to sign the consent? on
I
the
will
lease
find that
forms?
out, but I think it's really for town employees.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's the
right.
department.
I think what covers you are the signs, letting you know that
And
we
we,
are.
and we have no rights, so we're not. No, really, we're not,
We,
we are town officials,
we're
subject to
being
the
video
town.
recorded anyways.
All right.
So, did you get the changes that I suggested for number 6, Mary Beth?
Number 6.
In there, when you said that we need the board needs to vote?
Yes, you want me to put Chairman John Manning, Water Board Chairman John Manning, Deborah Egan, Personnel Officer, as of this date, or
Yeah, I'll just say the current water board chairman,
the current.
today is John Manning, and the current personnel, whatever the title is, Deborah Egan. Those names will change throughout the years, but for right now, it says that our title and the person.
Okay.
Good.
Retain structure, 30 days, and the event that hard copies of I just want to read over this. I want to make sure some of the things I wanted to see are in here, so it's going to take a minute. Policy. I'm not good with this. One question, Mary Beth, I have on this, and this, you're saying that this incorporated Judy Pickett's, all of Judy Pickett's responses
Yes.
from her memo dated the 23rd, okay. So under request for review, Judy was saying that all reference, delete all references, blah, blah, blah. Again, there's a problem with designees. What is the problem?
One of the sections, if I recall, the last meeting, you voted on, under page 4 of 7, number 4, you needed to decide who was going to have viewing privileges. And you named the Board of Water Commissioners, the Water Superintendent, the Admin Assistant, the IT people, the police, and the Town Administrator. That was one of, I think that was one of the questions that Judy had on who was going to be. But mostly it was, I think some of the comments might have been redundant only because of the way the policy was written. That when she read, and I'm just based upon the memo, when reading through each number, I think she was trying to address any of the issues and any of the numbers in the different sections. And the designee shows up several times throughout the document, and that's where it came in about overall, you need to name someone other than me. There has to be a specific person listed, which you've done.
Okay. Well, the very first one here, under the acknowledgement, consent, release from Judy Pickett, in her paragraph here, the directive says, operation number 1, and I'm on page 3 of 7, operations number 1 there. She said it should read as follows: employees shall read and sign an acknowledgement that they have read the video surveillance procedure. That includes notification and information about the installation and location of the electronic surveillance system. This does not read the same way. It says
It's
employees
the
shall
consent form, the
employees shall
acknowledgement.
read and sign consents acknowledgements that include notification. I'd like it to read exactly what she wrote.
So on Judy's memo, number 1, is that what you're, under operation?
No, on the second page.
But you're referring to the memo from Judy Pickett?
Yes.
Operation, number 1. It's not, it's, if you read that,
Oh, so that's
that's for the
acknowledgement, consent,
acknowledgement
release.
form, that's for the release form. And if you look on the release form, that should be the very first sentence that you see.
Okay, good. Let me just double check that to make sure I'm not.
It's actually on both, the one that I
Making-
revised and the original.
Good. So,
And saying that it should be separate, because I had it like as part of the document, so I made it separate. It's not like part of it.
and so, under operation, you're saying that should. Okay, but under her acknowledgement, consent, and release, where is this under the VSP here? Video surveillance procedure.
I guess I interpreted
reconcile
that
these
comment,
two.
not anything to do with the SOP, but it had to do with the release form itself. So I only put it at the top of the release form as it says in here.
Okay.
So if you want it added,
No, I'm just trying to make sure I line the
Mhm.
things up appropriately.
I had to read it a couple times to make sure I got everything too.
Okay, so her verbiage is on the release form.
Yes.
Okay, I see that. Good. Shit. Okay, I'm just trying to make sure that all things she was asking for, we've done.
There was just a lot of typos, which I changed, all the typos.
Okay, all right.
So
And
there's still a typo on page 3 of 7. So
Okay.
the first operation paragraph 1, because John made me read it in detail. Employees shall read and sign.
Consents, I see it.
So the next two words, something's wrong. in that
No, you're right, it
sentence.
shouldn't be plural, it should be consent, sign, consent, acknowledgement. It shouldn't be plural.
Whatever the title of the document, it should sign the acknowledgement, consent and release form, I guess, because that's what it's called.
Operation number 1, is that,
Yeah.
employees shall read,
and
sign,
sign
consent,
the acknowledgement,
the,
consent and release form.
oh, exactly what it says, okay, yep.
that includes, because it's one form, so it would be the singular, includes notification and general information.
Form. Okay.
Still not 100% comfortable with regards that Joe Fair has the acknowledgement form or consent form to review and recommend, that the policy would be our SOP for video surveillance refers to. So, I mean, we can do anything we want, but until we have this,
He has both. So I think in one of the emails, going back and forth with the town administrator, Debbie Egan, she had a lot of good questions about, and I think I recall making a reference that he was going to be looking at them so that the form kind of goes along with what the policy says. So I think that Attorney Fair is going to do both. You know, look at this, read this over, and do both.
I'd rather have a really quick meeting once we get the documents and then just do them once. I'm not really comfortable signing or
No,
voting
this is
on
just
this.
an update to let you know where we are. You're not really signing or voting on anything, so you guys have just given me some other changes you want me to make. So I'll make sure that they get changed and make sure that this gets over to Debbie Egan so she can forward out the changes.
Well, here it's saying the board needs to vote.
On the designee.
Designate.
Oh, okay.
So,
That we can do.
That's why I put that on your copy, so that you would, if the board could just make it official to vote who you want to be the designee, which you've,
Very said, I don't know if we need to vote, but it's just, that doesn't need to be voted on, it just needs to
yep,
be incorporated, and when we vote on the document, it'll become, so.
I have all the changes, the typos that you found, and I'll take care of that.
Anything else, guys?
No.
Very good.
no.
Thanks, Mary Beth. Just wanna-
So when can we switch it on?
Well, the cameras are on because they have to be because of the exterior.
Warm.
They're not recording, but they're on. I did go in on one day, I had to go in, they had to turn everything on because I now have access to the cameras and I can view. I have not viewed except for day one with this, because I had to with the startup of it and the training. But that's it. I still have to go through.
The term is the system has been energized, it has not been used, it's not in use.
System has been energized, it's not being used.
That means there's power to the cameras, but that we're not recording things, we're not doing anything, they're just running.
Yeah.
So, for
So,
anybody
but-
that's concerned.
But the contractors will stay, there's a period of time that will allow us to shake out the system to make sure that everything is working, including the recording and the viewing of the recordings.
Right, but I can't move, that's the thing, is that I can't
No,
do
no,
the
I
recording
understand.
part until these things are in place.
Right, so, but they're going to hang with us until all of it, the whole thing is tested and put to bed.
They have a contract with us to provide us with the startup and training of the system, yes.
Okay.
Okay. So, move on to, this is the right folder. Old business number 3. Is there a handout for that, old business number 3?
This is the capital efficiency plan that you all got a copy of.
Oh, which I left in the car.
So, last meeting, the board wanted some more time to read this over. Does anybody have any comments they would like to add to this?
Yes, I'd like to sit down with the engineers and go over the maps because I see a lot of inaccurate information on the maps.
All right,
Lanes that I know that I put in that they say are really old.
Okay, so that's something none of us I gotta know.
Yeah,
what is
exactly.
it, what's wrong with the maps? 'Cause
I know that, going through some of the maps where they're saying replace the main, I know that they were replaced in '93. So they must have had some inaccurate information.
To replace the water main?
Yeah, some of the maps, they got down, I think the best way is to sit down with one of them and just go over the map and give them my knowledge of it, because, like I said, I found there's a few things that I know aren't right.
You're saying that they're saying replace the water main?
Yeah, like on Burke Ave. They have it all as being old, and half of it's only 20 years old.
Okay.
It's already been
Were
replaced.
there other criteria that they evaluated on that road that moved it up in the list to be replaced?
I have no idea, I just looked at the maps.
Okay, because if you read the capital efficiency plan,
Mm-hmm.
and you look at the section on the conclusions,
Mm-hmm.
it describes why they put what they put. So the criteria they used were water quality complaints, water main break history, pipe material.
Mm-hmm.
Some parts of the system were critical because they might want to replace a water main or extend a water main to make a loop the system around for improving hydraulics and water quality. So there was a description in here as to the criteria and why they went on. But if you think that there's a mistake on
I know there's some in here. I
well,
probably
the
see-
map, I guess when you look at the maps, you gotta read the part that goes with that
Mhm.
map.
I've gone through a third of that. I want to put this, I couldn't get through the whole document. I'm just saying, I couldn't. I got through a third of it.
Yeah.
I want to finish reading the whole thing before I say, yahoo, okay? So I'd
So,
like to just push it off again for another.
so
There's a lot
what's,
of reading in here. I just started this weekend,
I
just
started before, but like I said, I've only gotten through
skimming through some of the stuff.
about that much, about that much of it right there.
Mhm.
So,
Mark, do you have some dates that are available that I could reach out to the engineer tomorrow that you might be available to meet?
I'll talk to you after the meeting.
Okay.
so I'd like to sit in on that. Oh, can I sit in on?
you're welcome
The two
to.
of
I
them?
assume you'll be doing it during the daylight hours?
I would assume, yeah.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen for me.
So the issue is
I'll-
that two of us can't be in the same place at the same time talking
Correct.
about.
Unless we
what
want to
meeting.
schedule a meeting where we all sit down and have a working meeting.
You're welcome to. I don't have a problem with that. I just won't be in attendance. Just when you work out the dates after this.
I'd just like to sit down and talk to them about some of the, pass on some of my knowledge that I have of the system that doesn't seem to have been
I
passed
had a
on.
great idea. How about if we invite them to come to the water board meeting? Then you can all three.
No, because we've got such a big agenda. And I'll be honest with you, I'm gonna rely on a lot on Mark having hands-on experience. Would I like to, and I'll give my feedback through a memo. But I think being able to have a sit-down where you can have the give and take, I don't have a night to burn up on just this. That's the problem.
So what about having two commissioners?
We set up a meeting. Whenever you guys work
Oh,
out a
I see
date.
what you're saying. You want me
Just have
to
a meeting.
post an official
Yeah,
meeting?
absolutely.
Gotcha.
We can do
Oh,
that.
Yep.
Yeah, and
I'm sorry, I misunderstood. That's fine.
Okay. Yep, no, just,
We'll work something out.
Yeah.
Okay,
so,
so at this point, with the short weeks and everything, it looks like we won't be able to do this till after the first of the year.
I wouldn't say till, yeah, after the first of the year.
that's fine.
Because I want some more time to go over this some more, but I saw some things that I knew weren't accurate, so.
Okay.
so Mary Beth, can you say where this fits in terms of the other things that we have to decide on? So if we delay okaying this efficiency plan, what gets impacted?
The contracts, that will be my next thing. I'm gonna need the Board of Water Commissioners to extend the current contract you have with Tater and Howard. There'll be some additional costs associated with extending that, due to the fact that you're gonna want them to come to do the meeting.
Mhm.
It wasn't part of the original.
Understood.
Right, so that's cost attack, but
So I'll need you to vote, and then I'll have them draft up the papers.
I think what Bernie, if I could paraphrase for you, was the items that they've put in there, what's the effect if we defer or don't do those things?
If we don't
for
make.
2 months. If we don't get to okay this plan for 2 months, what's impacted?
Do we have any negative impact? I mean, it's really just a study, correct?
It's your budgeting tool, it's your capital water main replacement program.
Mm-hmm.
So it's It's whatever you wanna do.
It's a long-term horizon.
Right.
This is a
so-
20-year capital
Right.
plan.
Okay, well, that's what I
I
So
just-
we can take the time and do this,
Yeah.
right? Our capital plan for next year isn't gonna be directly impacted by pushing this off.
Well, that's what I want to know.
Well, you've already, voted on $50,000
Mhm.
to start,
To put away for capital planning.
investigating some of these things, moving forward, some engineering on some of the smaller things or something, but, yep, I can certainly post a meeting. You'll have to let me know what your time is because, for the meeting. And then, but I'll just need the board to vote, please, to extend the contract so that I can, if you wanna do this, that the deadline for the completion is passed for this. So I'm gonna need to do a new contract with Tater and Howard.
To have them come in to have that
And in
meeting.
order for the board to sign that contract, unless you authorize me on your behalf to sign it, you have to do it at a public meeting. So it would delay things a little bit.
We have the time, so work with Mark, and then we'll extend it, we'll ask to extend
Okay, so I
it.
can't do anything, posting a meeting and inviting Tater and Howard to come until you extend the contract, so.
So I make a motion to extend the Taylor and Howard contract to cover further discussions on the capital efficiency plan.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Opposed?
So
My
I have-
expectation is that fee is not going to be, our track record with Tater and Howard is they seem to be reasonable.
There,
And so I'm not expecting, $10,000 whopper.
I don't know.
Well, if it is, then we'll probably, I'd like to set a dollar limit to that, not to exceed, amend that motion, not to exceed $5,000.
I'll make a motion that any extension and additional cost to the Taylor and Howard contract on the capital efficiency plan not exceed $5,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Thank you.
So I don't want to give carte blanche to that.
Good
so,
point.
Yeah, that's all. All
So
right.
I have a substantive question.
Okay.
On the asset management rating, did I miss something in this document that basically shows the details of that calculation? I mean, I see that there's a fair amount of precision in the asset management, but I don't see the algorithm anywhere.
It's probably in their working documents, in their programs that they use to run these.
So could you ask them to send that?
I don't know if that's something that they send
Well,
there.
Then these numbers don't mean anything. I mean, I would need to understand what's the difference between 46 to 75 as the asset management rating compared to
What-
53 to 65.
What are you looking at, Bernie?
This is table
I know a
7.1,
fact.
What page?
That was all placed.
page 41.
93 to 96. See, that's the kind of things that I found. Just
I'm
Page
sorry,
41?
what-
No,
best thing to do is
Page
just to go over
41?
page by page.
it's this page.
I'm on page 41 now.
Well, then, I'm on page 41, so what have we got? This is
Let's see,
section
let me-
7,
Let me see what you have.
section
Oh,
7.
section 7, okay.
As being done.
Well, let me just look at yours, which one I have.
So,
It actually
see these numbers
Crystal
here?
Farm, it stops and goes back to-
So I'm assuming they've
This is-
integrated
it's
the
not
various
double
risk
line.
factors
Mm-hmm,
So that should be
associated with the,
mm-hmm.
but
You know,
I need to know what those are.
things that I know because I was there.
I need to see the formula to understand what
There was a
the,
lot of work done.
what the trade-offs are. So you've
5
got,
years ago, I was-
you've got a very narrow band on Newburyport Turnpike of only, whatever the scale is, 12 points. And on the others, you've got, big swings. I don't know whether that's because they've segmented the run in certain areas. So in certain areas it's 75, in certain areas it's 46, or what. So I have no idea what those numbers mean.
Okay.
And it's not clear in here, although it's driving a lot where they put different pieces of the work.
Mm-hmm.
So I just need to. I don't know about the
Okay,
other
if you have
guys.
further things, just here after the meeting, you guys work that stuff out.
Okay.
And then you guys will get together, work with Mary Beth, get times from Tater and Howard, authorized to move forward.
Yeah.
Let me know when the meeting is, if my schedule allows, I'm definitely gonna be there, but, I'm exceedingly busy right now in my professional life. All right, anything else on the capital plan?
No.
All right, next thing, staffing update. Discuss office manager adding for FY18.
We talked about at the last meeting about the, possibly adding an office manager. The board had talked about bringing back in customer service and billing.
Oh, absolutely
some
not.
point.
We did not discuss that. Bringing in customer service, we talked about outsourcing and looking
You
at,
know, we had mixed discussions with different commissioners who had different views,
well, let's look at the minutes,
to,
because,
wanted to possibly talk about bringing back,
no.
Mr. Emery, did you
I
know?
brought it up, you said absolutely no, but there's a different opinion.
And it's
It was
not gonna
brought
be
up.
on the agenda. I am adamantly opposed to bringing in things back in until, not saying completely, until we finish looking at that outsourced study. I'm not doing it.
No, I
Just telling you,
completely
I'm just saying.
understand that. I'm just trying to follow up from the, you know, you wanted to table this discussion, that's why it's on the agenda. If you don't wanna discuss it, that's fine with me.
Not until we have that information about the outsourced vendors. And
Outsourced vendors?
we had talked about it, when you gave us those, I gave you the contracts from the other company, other cities that had outsourced their operations, outsourced operations?
I mean, you mean contract operations for the entire department? That
Yes.
one? Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Everyone has those, we're supposed to be looking at those and bring that back up. I was gonna wait until we do the budget work and then revisit that and then get an RFP out, because I wanna see what that is. And I'm sorry if I just said passionate about that. I've just been working on some of those deals in the private sector. But,
Don't believe me, you're gonna find me as passionate about other things, so.
yeah, no,
Don't worry
no,
about
no.
Okay, so you do
Not a
not
problem.
want to consider, you asked me to do,
Yep. I
Existing
definitely want the
staffing
staffing plan. I wanna see the staffing plan, because we have open recs, and what I wanna know is what's happened, are you getting any kind of traction there, or what's going on with the open
we-
recs?
so the other part of the staffing update is, last week I interviewed 2 candidates for the entry-level, no experience grade, I think it's a grade 4 laborer, grade 5 or grade 4 laborer. And that one of the candidates was selected, and personnel is checking references and doing all that. I have not heard back, so I don't know if they've reached out to the individual to make the offer.
So
So I'll
on
wait to
your,
hear back.
on your chart here, which position are we looking at? Under distribution and treatment?
That would be under distribution, and it would be
On the left or the right?
the one on the left. And that would be the distribution maintenance laborer, D1 OIT, T1 OIT.
So candidate pending. Okay, good. And on your document where it says future staffing plan, office manager vacant, I would like you to just put proposed,
Gotcha.
because we haven't voted on putting that on there.
Okay,
And we'll also have to work with the personnel board in addition.
okay.
Okay. Anything else on the staffing update?
Oh, yes, the other side of the coin was the treatment side, talking about you wanted, trying to attract people for the positions. And I asked the board, did you want to consider a possible position, a water treatment operator, T2 OIT, D2 OIT, just like we had for the laborer, to create that entry level. So that was also, should say proposed on that one as well.
Correct. Yep.
So, and we're working on the job description for that.
Okay, good.
Bernie's very busy.
Good. Anything else?
That's all I have.
Good.
So do you have is there a vacant janitor, so how's the place, what is being done currently? Are you guys
Nothing.
doing it yourself?
Nothing. I was doing it before, I'm not anymore.
So what are you doing for keeping this place clean?
Nothing.
Having the bathrooms
Then nobody has
serviced, et
time to
cetera?
clean.
So that's an issue that you need to address. I mean, can you hire a cleaning company versus an individual?
I don't know, that's a union thing, because now we have a janitor's position, which is part of the bargaining unit,
Mhm.
and that could be a problem with the union outsourcing without their permission.
Well, we insourced, we created a position, correct? Because we used to have a cleaning company?
Yes.
Right. So if we hired someone and it doesn't work, and we can't attract anybody, what's the union gonna do for us to get a person? Then we need to, and you
At
need to,
least on a
it's your
temporary
department.
basis.
Yeah, it's your department. I can't tell you, Mary Beth, go do this, but
Mhm.
you need to take care of the plant, so, I don't know if you need to talk to Deb about getting an interim contract in here, or, you know, you can't go without. That kind of speaks to life safety and sanitary conditions. And if you need a meeting for us to vote on something, let me know. We'll call a quick meeting and we'll do whatever vote we need to get you what you need to fix that problem.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna move to new business. Email from Catherine Wysong regarding rain barrels. So is this something that we can kind of pursue over the winter and get put together? Have people buy barrels if they want come the spring?
I was already working on this anyway as a result of our success, and this resident had emailed the town administrator, and so, this was, the selectmen, they were looking for you to talk about this, and
I'd say keep moving forward with what you were doing. I mean, you were working on it.
correct.
You and I talked about it. So from a discussion standpoint, you know, she's giving you some information here. I know you've said that you've worked on that. You did a proof of concept out in the yard here. It works. But I guess if we, you know, was it, Wood Health did compost barrels once. I don't know if they still do it. But, I mean, it's not without precedent, so if you need something from the board to support it, let me know.
Well, I will need a budget number, because we don't have anything currently budgeting to purchase rain barrels, because we would have to purchase the rain barrels. And keep them here, and make them available to anyone who wants them at a discounted price. That's what the rain barrel program's about.
Who absorbs the discount?
That would be us.
No. I'd be okay with providing the rain barrels, but no.
Because then we also get in
Not
the
a charity.
situation that I recall, the reason why we don't stock water meters and and meter pits and those kinds of things, so when people come in, is because before, I guess it was an issue about we would have to charge sales
So I'm gonna
tax.
say sales tax was a big issue if I remember right.
Sales tax was the issue, so anything, that's why we don't stock anything and do the direct.
Mhm.
I'd be glad to take orders for them. And, you know, we'll do an order, you know, once a month during the growing, second quarter of the year, April, May, and June. We'll do it once a month. We'll advertise if someone wants a barrel. This month's order is going in. Please order your barrel. Bring in a check.
But the
We'll buy them, and then they can get.
The
Let them without the
thing
sales
that
tax.
concerns me is, yeah, the sales tax. The
Well, if
whole-
we're-
the whole
So
sales tax thing.
what we would do is that we wouldn't, in order for the program to work, it's about buying in bulk. Typically, towns that run these programs, they don't do it for 3 months. They say, send out notification. Anyone interested in a rain barrel, you must fill out the application. We must receive your payment by this date. The water department then places one order.
Okay.
And that's how you get the discount. And then when the rain barrels come in, we would contact people. They've already paid for them, and they just come in and pick them up.
That's fine. I'd say run it the way you want, and if that's the way
I
it
can't
gets
see
done.
stockpile on anything.
No,
We
don't have
don't,
the space.
don't have the space to,
No.
they're pretty big. They're the size of those blue chlorine barrels you see.
Yeah. So, my instructions are to be, initiate it, do whatever you need to do, and then start the first of the year, take orders up till whatever time you think it's right. It should be, sorry, people walking around out front. Not typical,
Bob Gray.
yeah. So just come back next meeting and tell us what the plan is to get it done, to implement it. And what you need for a budget, or if you do need a budget or not.
I won't, because
Because
it'll be
you're gonna
just
have
like we do with
movements.
the water meters, make out a check directly to the,
Perfect. Okay. Discuss disposal of scrap metal, new business number 2.
Can I just make one comment on this rain barrel? I have these giant 32-gallon or 36-gallon tubs, that you stick stuff or store away. It strikes me that they could be used as essentially water storage.
we use trash
devices.
cans, we used our trash cans.
Right,
The difference
so-
is they come with the fittings and a spigot, so you can attach a garden hose to the bottom of it. They're not, and they're over $100
So,
each.
so my point would be if, once we get the website up, that would be an item to just, how to do it yourself rain barrels systems and just put it on the website.
I actually have pictures of ours, again, it's getting on the webpage and getting that on there.
Right,
We've
no,
got a-
I'm agreeing. I'm
That's a
just
great
saying.
suggestion, Bernie,
Okay.
so it will go on there, and you can use anything. You just have to have something to catch from the downspout, but the trick is, which I learned, and you have to be dedicated to collecting the rainwater, because it's a time-consuming thing. I mean, I was out there transferring water it was our first try. I was just so thrilled. We collected over 1,500 gallons, but you gotta transfer the water unless you have a series of barrels lined up with fittings so that, and, that kind of thing, so, we will put something on the web for sure.
Okay. 7:30, I want to try and get us done tonight. Disposal of scrap metal, do we have a handout on that, or?
No, one of the board members, or two of the board
Actually,
members
two of us did.
were
Yeah.
approached at town meeting about disposal, so I don't really know what the conversation was about, so.
Someone has asked that, is it possible for us to allow contractors, I guess, or a vendor to bid on disposal of scrap?
We don't put the scrap metal out to bid because we don't have a lot of it. It's a hydrant here, a hydrant there. We don't have the room to stockpile. I'm familiar with the individual you're speaking with. I've spoke with that person several times. We get pricing, so it's one of those things where we get it. We solicit pricing.
It's a commodity.
And I've asked this gentleman to provide pricing, but what this person wants to do is haul away all our stuff, then tell us what it's worth, kind of thing. Where we call up salvage yards or wherever, we have a few places that we go, we call up and get the price, whoever gives us the best price, that's where we go. And this person couldn't provide pricing, if I recall. I have a whole folder on this. And that's why we don't. Putting it out to bid, you have to put a dollar value to your project. I would have no idea what the dollar value is.
Well, since it is a commodity, I think it's the best approach is to get a commodity price.
Which is what we're
On
doing.
the spot market,
Mm-hmm.
so.
That's what we do.
um,
And then we haul it
Give
away.
him a call and tell him if he gives you a price.
There's a chain of custody. So we load our truck,
Mm-hmm.
we bring it, we get on the scale, they unload us, we get off the scale. So we know exactly what we've turned in,
Yeah,
kind of thing. And we do it ourselves.
but you call around and get prices?
There's
this
two places that
individual-
we,
Then we'll add a
close by.
third, and we'll ask him if he wants a chance at bidding.
Yeah, call him, get a price. If he gives you a price, one thing. If he doesn't, well,
Yep, okay,
okay?
just give him a chance.
done. Meeting dates for FY '18 operating budget. through the clutter. So what are we looking at? When do we meet?
Oh, whenever the board wants to meet. What I thought, because I'm still working with the town accountant on, like, the revenues page and the debt calcs, to start, what is the expense line, which is, what I consider the operating portion of the day-to-day. That's really the biggest part, because the other stuff, we really don't have any control over. 10% increase because of this, 5% increase on the overhead stuff. So it's that one page, so it's on the expense line 8, I think it is.
I'd be just as willing to do it January 10th, first meeting back after the holidays.
Okay,
Mark,
just the budget?
do you think we need the entire meeting
Well, we did that last year and it worked out well. We were
and just the budget?
in and out, and
And
then,
if we need to add a couple things.
Unless there's some emergency thing that needs to be signed or something.
Yeah, and if we add something, but,
between now and then, certainly I'll reach
Yeah.
out to you. Okay,
so January 10th, budget meeting.
okay.
So, but I have some concerns about the book that I got, and that is that I don't know if this is the time, if that's going to be the first meeting and we're going to address the budget at that point, then the FY16 actuals that are laid out
It's
here.
incorrect, I know.
Oh, all right. Well, I didn't know that.
So if you make updates, put them in the mailbox and then have Catherine
I'm working
call
on,
us.
I'm working on them right now.
Come on in, guys.
While we're,
I didn't have
got our
the,
calendars open, you wanna do the rest of the meetings?
Bernie, I
Yeah, I'm
didn't
looking
have
at
the
'em right now.
actuals
Yeah.
at the time when I did that. I just got them.
All
The
right.
24th, I'm not available.
Because there's,
January 24th?
I mean, the reason why I identified it was because there are actuals in here.
I think we'll do the
Tie back.
31st.
Right, which is
Yep,
what I
I'm
have to
available. then.
transfer.
All right,
the-
all
yeah,
right.
Exactly. Good catch, though.
Well, I
Nothing
thought that
gets-
was my homework.
Nothing gets by
And then we'll go
you.
back to the schedule, 2/7, 2/28. Okay.
Sorry, gentlemen.
So did you want to still meet at 6 o'clock for that budget meeting? Did you want to meet earlier? What did you want to do for the January 10th meeting, John?
It's never gonna be earlier, let's put it that way.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just not gonna happen.
Well,
No,
how-
6 o'clock is fine.
Okay.
So how long did the meeting last year
We
last?
just done 2 hours.
We
Less.
were less than 2 hours, I
Yeah.
think. I think it was our shortest, an hour, I think.
Yeah, well, you had all the work done ahead of time, and you
And it-
structured the budget the year before. Do you remember, we just cleaned it up and made it operating, and then, yeah, it was much cleaner than the year before.
I've actually cleaned it up a little more, with some
Good.
more stuff
Mhm.
lining up, so.
So looking at the, I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead here.
Mhm.
Where are we? Oh, well, we jumped down, I'm just gonna jump down then, because Mark and I just went through it. And Bernie, if you could review those dates down on general business number 3. Meeting dates for next year. January 24th, Mark can't make, so I said we'll go to the 31st, but then resume the schedule back on the 7th. And those dates are all okay with me. And of course, they're all only subject to change anyways, Bernie, but.
Mhm.
Right.
Did I miss something? Did you not do new business?
Yeah, I just jumped around. I
You
just said,
jumped
Oh.
to
I'm
3.
jumping general business up to, because we were talking about.
We're sitting here with our calendars open.
FY
We might as well-
18.
Sorry.
I
Yes.
suggested
yes.
that we just do all of them rather than just the one
So while
meeting.
you guys are having a sidebar on the budget, Mark and I looked at the calendars.
Oh, okay.
So we've knocked off general business number 3, and
We've done number 4.
And we changed the 24th to the 31st on January.
Okay, I get that. All right, thank you.
then just kept the rest of this.
Everything else seems to look all right for me.
Yeah, mine's looking okay at this point. Bernie, if something pops up, just let us know.
Us retired folks have
Oh.
open calendars.
All right. Well, Still, all right, so that's GB number 3 there. Going back up, operating budget, we just talked about, set the January 10th meeting for the budget. Relocation of water service, we did earlier. Vote to allow the water superintendent to dispose or donate 3 window AC units. I know it's that one, where are the other 2 from?
The 2 offices.
Okay, oh, because we're gonna do an HVAC thing. Can we offer them to the council and agent or the town?
I already did.
Okay, any takers?
Nope. That was, over a week ago.
Okay. Any other town departments interested?
I sent it to every department.
Okay.
I say do what you have to do to get rid of them.
Yeah, if you can, I mean, they're not
There's no value to
high,
them.
no, you gotta pay to
They're
get rid of them.
over, I don't know how many years old.
The town will probably in the spring have a cleanup with air conditioners, so we could just drop them off down there for the Board of Health, I would
They
imagine.
still charge us. That Charlie's miserable.
No, they don't, they only
No,
charge
they
for,
don't charge sound
they'll
pounds.
just charge,
They don't.
They don't.
No, excuse me, when the Board of Health has the household hazardous waste or the battery day, we bring our stuff down.
I know fire department brings this down the day before. 'Cause
Yeah,
don't-
but we do that too. We bring it down the day before.
So I'll put my TV in here for a bit. Just kidding. Yeah, just hold on and get rid of them then. If you haven't got space for them, put them outside, out the back. Okay,
Thank you.
so you're authorized.
do you need a vote? Mary Beth, do you need a vote?
No, just get rid of them.
Well, it's disposing of department property, so I don't,
We'll entertain a motion to dispose of the 3
So
old air
moved.
conditioners.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Done.
thank you.
Period. Passed. Okay, air conditioners. Sign contracts with Tanner and Howard for the engineering work to be done to comply with the 2016 sanitary survey. We did those earlier. You got another one? Nope. Okay.
We signed the PO, we didn't sign the actual.
Oh, okay. Thought I already signed it.
Oh, that PO was for general engineering services for something else. There is a PO in that folder that Mr. Manning has that goes with that contract.
Okay.
Which is how much? 39. Ugh. So this is all those compliance projects. This is what we voted, we got funded at town meeting.
Yes.
Kills me spending that much money. Okay, you sign that. Excuse me. Excuse me. Water superintendent's report.
Well, I'll just start off as, I know that, thanks for everybody cooperating with my direction of the parking this evening. We had an active main break that had been going on today, and I just want to update the board just because it was pretty significant. And for a little show and tell, I brought this in. This is a saddle. This is what goes in the water main where the water service is connected to. This is what broke on Fennel Drive, the saddle to the service. So, this is what we've replaced. This is the actual one we had in stock that we used to fix the, it's an adjustable
How does
saddle.
it break?
Excuse me?
How does it break?
I didn't get the details because I didn't get to talk.
In general, when those saddles break,
Usually the cast part that her hand is
Yeah.
on the front, usually
Uh-huh.
rots
This right here.
really?
out. And it's
So-
epoxy coated and everything, but the older ones weren't.
Oops, sorry.
New ones are.
Real heavy.
Okay.
So, because of what happened on Fennel Drive, the damage was very extensive, and I thank you for signing that purchase order. We're gonna be having to pave a very large section, cut it out because the road was undermined, a portion of the road was undermined and washed away. So I had asked, there are 2 other saddles and a coupling in the paved area, so we're going to be proactive and replace those 2 saddles and the coupling before we pave.
Because they're probably the same age as
Because they're the
Mhm.
same
The
exact
ones that
age as
failed?
the ones that have failed. So if we're gonna spend
It's
$4,000 to
cost-effective.
pave the road, And then
No, I would
when
do the
winter
same
is
thing,
going to
definitely.
break, we might as well just be proactive and it will be a cost savings down the road.
No, that makes
Like
sense.
they're showing down.
No, that's good to understand what a saddle is. Is that what connects two pipes together? Is that what connects two pipes
No,
together?
that
It's
actually
holds
goes on,
the
you
connection.
mount that onto the pipe,
Uh-huh.
and then you put your corporation, you screw it in, and you screw
So it's
a
threaded.
tapping machine onto it, and it cuts a hole the size of that into the main, and that's how you get your water.
Oh, okay.
So when the drill comes back out, you shut the the corporation off, and the water doesn't come out until you
Okay.
hook the hose up to it.
Yeah, no, I understood.
Learn something.
So I thought that would be a little interesting, considering you heard the beeping of the guys coming back.
I thought the Bainbridge was downtown, it's up on Fennel Drive?
Federal Drive, yes.
Okay.
This, down this way.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
sorry.
Yeah, this way. I had to
It was
walk.
that way.
Yes.
Oh, it is downtown.
So, so that was just one
But
thing that happened.
is that into that, because Fenno Drive is a relatively new development, right?
No.
No,
It's older than I am.
Yeah.
it's the 8-inch AC. So,
So Rob's back from jury duty? Good.
yes, actually came back, I think he completed, they wrapped it up earlier than anticipated, so that was actually really good.
Yeah. Small water systems, is the people we had contract out?
Yes, they've
How are they
been,
working out?
they're working out great. They are extremely flexible, knowledgeable operators that have been coming. They've basically done whatever it is we need, doesn't matter. They've done whatever we've asked.
How's that Robert Gray character doing? He's
Oh,
back?
Bob's doing good.
Yeah.
No, he's doing good. This was his first, live action break as coming back as the distribution supervisor, so, he was out there for the whole entire, initially, Rob went out to do the investigation, and then after that, Bob took over. So he was out there with, working with Pike. We had to call Pike's crew in to help us out, so. At the last meeting, Jamie, you asked about the truck. I didn't really have a answer, but I do. It's roughly a delivery in February. So that's better than what we had originally thought on the new truck. The residential cross-connection surveys, we're doing really well. We're up to about 177 surveys completed. So that's really good. And then the other half that's remaining, we did make an attempt to send letters, but because the records that we had were just the actual physical address of the property, we didn't have mailing addresses, we had 172 plus or minus letters come back. So what we're doing now is, with the help of the administrative assistant, Catherine Bento, who's preparing all of the tags, we had the letters dropped off, so we'll be tagging the properties to ask that they call for the appointment. And so we started tagging today, and we've already had, one resident has called to schedule an appointment, so that's working, and we're doing that. Just a quick update on the accounting software package. One of the goals that the board and I had set was to look at other alternatives for software packaging for accounting, and I was looking at the SoftWrite. Unfortunately, we won't be able to purchase the SoftWrite package that I'm familiar with, and I got an education on this. These companies come up with these packages, and they're awesome, and they work and do exactly what you want. But the problem is, they can't get enough people to buy the programs. So they go out of business, or they just don't take on any new clients because they can't service them. So SoftWrite cannot offer that package. So I'm working with Carol Susi right now with the Peachtree. And the Peachtree can do a lot of the things that I'm trying to do, which is to do the electronic PO. About the only thing I think it can't do is send an email. So if one of the guys goes in to do a purchase order for approval for a chemical, SoftWrite, for example, would have sent me an automated email that says, you have requisitions to approve. We'll be able to do those blanket POs, John, that you guys had talked about, where when we go in and apply an invoice to a PO for for chlorine, for Univar, whatever, when we put that invoice, we can draw on the one invoice. So I'm gonna be working with what we have for the moment, because there's so many different packages out there, and now knowing what I know, that these companies could go out of business, Peachtree isn't going anywhere. So if you look, I believe I should have put in here, and if you didn't, in the superintendent's report, there's some dollars there, that I wanna just go over the board. To buy the new program that, it's not Peachtree anymore, it's Sage 50, they call it. Is it-
Where are you reading? First page?
I'm not quite sure where it is
It's a
in your
memo.
packet.
It's a separate memo.
Oh, okay. It was
Is that
on
it?
something else. Yep, I got it. Yep.
So there's some things that we can do. We haven't had an upgrade on our Peachtree in years. It's never been serviced. So there's some quick numbers that we're throwing out there about, monthly service charges for the licensing. Because in order for it to work, more than one person has to have access to the program. With most, and I'm sure you know this, John, with most of those programs, there are end users, and you've got to pay for the licensing.
Seats.
What is it called?
Seat license.
Seat license?
Mhm.
Okay, so that's what we're working on. What's gonna be the best option for us? And what is the likelihood of more than 3 people wanting to get into the system? It won't let you go in. Because I said, well, how's the system gonna know? But I guess apparently it
It
does
does.
know, and it won't
I know
let you.
that Firehouse software it does.
Do you have the Peachtree over where you
No,
are?
we have Firehouse software, which is,
Firehouse?
yeah, which is, we use for all our reporting and everything.
Okay.
What about like
And-
quick? Okay.
And that's pretty much the same price that we pay a year for our service. And we get, assume you get all the updates all year long,
Mhm.
because I know I'm updating the Firehouse software all the time.
Yeah, we've had no updates.
What about like QuickBooks? Have you looked at that?
I have not. I can.
It's an Intuit product. It's wildly popular, and it's pretty easy to use. Catherine, you're laughing. Have you used it? Yeah.
Yes.
So you should be able to give Mary Beth some insight. What's your opinion?
Mary Beth gives me all the insight.
I know, but with regards to the Intuit product, QuickBooks, what's your,
It is intuitive,
Mhm.
but I've never had an experience with Peachtree, so I can't compare. But,
think old and decrepit software?
Well,
It is
but
real
isn't
long
one
in
of
the
the,
tooth.
I mean, isn't one of the issues the link between the town's software and our software?
There is no link, and there's not going to be a link. The town would have to use Peachtree, or the town of Rowley would have to use the same accounting software package that we're using in order for things to be linked together.
What's the town using?
Nothing. To my knowledge, they do not have an accounting,
I can't
We're the
believe
only
Sue
de-
Bailey and Karen Summit do not have.
they
a-
have Excel. I believe Sue Bailey uses Excel. She does the general ledgers in Excel, and if she does use something, I don't know.
It's okay.
But I don't think anybody else does purchase orders.
But if you were to, what's the light department use? They must do POs.
I'm not quite, I don't know what's.
So you might want to ask, see what they use.
Sure.
And then secondly, look at QuickBooks, because I know from when I was on my own, with my own firm, I used it. It's pretty powerful. It's not hard to use, and it generates what's called a CSV file, which would integrate into pretty much anything.
Everything.
Yeah. So, not that we need to, but if you can get an extract out of Excel, you can even extract stuff in a CSV format from Excel and put it into QuickBooks and do all the cool stuff that you'd want to do from the town's reports. Trust me, it's, and that's even something where I could help you, because that comes into might not be pipes, but that's something that I can help work with. Consider
That's why we have a 3-member board.
Consider I rewrote the fire department budget originally. So what you guys are using, it's like, put dealing with, back in the Faircloth and, God, I worked for the HV company. Can't remember his name.
So whatever,
Rob.
so
Anyways,
I guess Carol, I don't know Carol, so Carol is who?
Carol is the Peachtree expert. She's been
She's
working with the
been working on
town
it
for
since the early
20
90s.
years, working with the water department on that.
So one of the issues with, if we're looking at anything else, would be porting whatever you've got onto a new system, and that's I think we would have to find somebody else other than Carol on that issue, because she obviously,
Well,
unless she supports QuickBooks. She
Oh,
could
well, we-
support QuickBooks.
I'm not sure.
Do a little research, I guess.
One thing is I think we need to have a software in here that we're getting support on a yearly basis.
The problem is that nobody's ever really done anything with this Peachtree since it was installed. I know, in talking with Carol, that there was a lot of initial work, and with, as you know, with computer programming and downloading and data stuff, it's time consuming. I mean, you could spend 2 hours on one programming thing just to get it right. I mean, I've gone through that with other things, so time is money, money is time.
And if you
so
got
they
this
just-
working, if you just can upgrade it,
Yeah,
you might be
exactly.
better off.
That's why I was looking, after talking with Carol and realizing, and she did some digging
See, I
on
didn't realize it wasn't being updated and
Oh, no, yeah, they never maintained. there's no-
doesn't make any sense to
Nothing
me,
was ever
but
maintained on it.
So now that we know it, let's fix
let's
it, do
get it
it right.
updated and see
Yeah.
where we go from there.
So
Yeah.
it seems to me you want a 5-user version.
I would think 5-user would not be out of
Because
line.
you've got 2 here and 1 at the plant, and then
The-
Brigida could be working downtown as well. So
Okay.
it's 3. Or you've got 3 here.
And I
That's fine.
see the lien list is in here,
Yes,
which
so,
I am not on, thankfully.
yes, so, just to give some quick numbers, last year we had 34 on the lien list, this year we have 44.
And what's the net dollar amount?
I knew you were gonna ask that, but
I'm a numbers guy.
I
Always
know, and I
numbers.
forgot to get that. I'm gonna, even though the number was less, I'm gonna say that it was more money
I think it was.
went to lien. I'm gonna say it was closer to 30, maybe? If we, we're calling that around 30,000, so,
Okay.
if, I would just ask the board, if you're not, have any use for this list, if you would please leave this with me so that I can shred it. You really don't have any need to take this home with you, because it's got, you know,
Mm-hmm.
confidential information on it.
Well, if it had John's name on it, I'd take it home and frame it.
Damn near did. We had a fall between the cracks moment in my house. Oh, I thought you did that. So,
Happens.
oh, it's happened with pretty much anything, you know,
Well, we pile
once or
it.
twice a year.
One of the water board meetings, we had talked about the Prospect Hill, access road, and, some of us have seen it and heard about the washouts and everything, and then the board had some discussions about, we're not paying any more, you know, towards it, that you felt that it was, whatever, I don't recall the exact reason, but.
Fix it. That's
Fix
all
it.
my thing is, we paid for it,
So I
fix
reached,
it.
and you know, what is it, you asked about if the board of selectmen, what were their thoughts and stuff, so I reached out to town administrator and asked, you know, has the board had any discussions, and you should have in your packet an email from, you know, that there'll be, basically, there's no additional costs. We've appropriated $75,000 for the project, and, for construction costs, we should start to be receiving some invoices soon on the construction.
They
So-
actually, Selectmen last night voted the change order,
Yeah, okay.
and it's, we were in for it for 75,000, just like we always were.
Right, and the change order was for $30,000 was what the change order was
Yeah,
for.
when it's all added, subtracted, and
Right,
yeah, I actually had a meeting with Brent and Debbie on it last week or Thursday.
okay.
And it's supposed to be done by the end of the year.
They're supposed to start working on it tomorrow, I believe,
Yes.
tomorrow or the next day. According to what I saw on the Selectmen's meeting last night.
One other thing which is coming up is, I have the bidding documents for the dehumidification of the treatment plant. We're going out to bid on January 4th, with substantial completion on June 5th, and final completion on July 5th.
Of the installation or the bidding?
Going out to bid on January 4th,
Yeah.
and then going through the process of awarding the bids And then substantial completion is June 5th, with final completion on July 5th. That's the construction schedule.
Well, it gets the worst 2 months, July and August. Okay.
Better than what we had last year.
Oh, yeah.
Now, if you want to review this document, you can. There's 307 pages plus 6 maps. However, this will not happen until, it will push the construction timeline off and the whole bid document will have to change, meaning because of the construction schedule.
Oh, when we get the bids back, that's when I want to look and see what the bids come back
Okay.
with, the specs.
Okay.
I
Yes.
mean, they don't just
Like
give us
we
a
always
dollar.
do.
Yeah.
No, like we always do. But
Yeah,
what I'm
no,
saying is
that's
if you want to
Taylor and
review
Howard's
these bid
work.
documents before it goes out to bid, we will not be on the schedule that I just said.
Stay on schedule.
Thank you.
And besides, we've already worked on that previously.
Yes, we have, but
with
I just
Taylor and
wanted to
Howard.
make sure that,
Final call?
Yeah.
No, I was really pleased that town meeting supported that last year, because that was a real, I can't discuss it without an editorial, so I'll let it pass.
and also in the superintendent's report, is you do have a quick overview. As you requested, you notice that the overview on all of our projects are shortened on the descriptions with only what is current, which is what you asked for,
Yep, going through
for
that.
each of the projects. And there's a lot of them. Do you have a list of our projects? Since you, it's all, money goes to you guys.
So that moves us on to suggestions for future topics, if there are any. And you always, send an email to Mary Beth, she'll put it out. Except for in-housing yet. Except for in-housing. Bring back the building. Not yet.
Does anybody have
Anything
anything?
else? Not
On
yet,
that?
not at this time.
Okay.
And so accept and approve the minutes from November 29th. I just finished reading that.
If nobody has any corrections, I'll make a motion to accept them.
If I can find them, let me just.
Yeah, I'll give you my set. I went through them already.
I was gonna say, I went through them when I got my emails.
I started 2 or 3 times. It just always gets interrupted. Definitely tell the economy's moving, man. Look at business coming at us left and right. Tell the economy is moving. It's like, it's
Get busy, busy, busy.
our cover. Not only running over, it's snowing over. That's great. So Jamie, are you here for questions or just to find out, just to keep track of this?
I'm just
She just likes to visit.
taking notes, I have nothing else to do on Tuesday nights.
We're gonna talk to Bob.
I guess we have to get him
I
to
know.
entertain you better, huh?
Oh my God. How's our mutual friend Kathy Pipora? Pipora? Didn't work with her at Star Market? Oh, you may know her as a different, she's got Alzheimer's, didn't you work with her at Star Market? used to be down on Boston Street.
I don't know in Boston Street. I know the name,
I
but
thought we were talking about it one night.
actually it's Alzheimer's.
Is it Gallo? Is it maiden name?
Okay.
I thought you were my friend. It had worked
So
with her.
I second the acceptance of the minutes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Seconded.
All in favor? Aye. So moved.